The segment is News Review. I am Nana Tufo Boateng, and I'd like to invite you to join us with your thoughts, your comments, and contributions. We're streaming live on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Drop a comment there and, of course, engage with that particular link. You can join us on X, you can engage on our post there. We're very interactive and engaging there. Same as Instagram, IG, and we have some exclusive video content for you on TikTok. The show is about to get into a conversational mood where we get to engage on some of the interesting topics that are dominating the media space. We'll ask the relevant questions and our guest will bring varying perspectives to these topics. And so that's why we're inviting you to join us with your thoughts. Well, our WhatsApp number is on your screens, so send your thoughts via that number as well. Joining me in studio this morning is the Deputy Commissioner, Acting Deputy Commissioner for the Gaming Commission, Lanteg Apanga. Council, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. It's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you, bro.
Looking sharp as always.
Try. Not to look like the problems.
I know, right? If we look like our problems, we'll scare people away.
You don't go be.
Anyways, Council, there's a troubling issue. Some weeks ago, we heard some of our compatriots unfortunately lost their lives in a bid to make ends meet. These are tomato traders who went to Burkina Faso to trade and unfortunately lost their lives. We know the issues in Burkina Faso, but the government of Burkina Faso has subsequently placed a ban on the export of raw tomato produce. This, of course, will have an impact on us since we continue to depend on the imports from Burkina Faso. And so now calls are deepening for self-sufficiency. Over the years, policies, promises have failed. And this is not attributed to any particular party or government. Successive governments over the years. We can talk of Akumadan all the way to Polugu. Where did we go wrong? And how do we recover from this?
Well, thank you. And good morning to you and good morning to your listeners. For me, I think the entire decision by Burkina to ban the importation of raw tomatoes, exportation of raw tomatoes, whether to Ghana or any other country, is not a direct trade decision directed at Ghana per se.
No.
It is a decision to preserve their national interests.
True.
And so we are only a byproduct, a function of that decision. And so we shouldn't see it as some exercise targeted at our brothers in West Africa. But it should also be seen as a blessing in disguise. I say it's a blessing in disguise because in the initial stage, this is going to create some hardship. Definitely, tomatoes has become a major ingredient in most of our Ghanaian dishes.
True.
I mean, it is estimated that Ghana consumes lots and lots of tomatoes because of the nature of our meals, which is good. But then it means that we are going to have some shortage. Prices will shoot up. But the good part of it is that this will attract persons who are interested in investing in tomato production, going to tomato farming. And then it's an opportunity for our government now to see how we can harness that opportunity and then invest in tomato production. I mean, get good seeds and inputs that will support the farmers, provide access roads. How? Because you know the nature of tomato too is that it is a very highly perishable product.
Yes.
And so you can't even harvest it and keep it in the farm for 2-3 days. You start having losses. And so roads are equally important. And then we can now move on from the raw states to processing states. If you look back, just about 10 years or so ago, or maybe a little more, we didn't used to go to Burkina for tomatoes. Majority of our tomatoes, we go as far as Navrongo. And I remember very well growing up as a young boy, they used to talk about Navrongo tomatoes as one of the best tomatoes in the country. Because it had a longer lifespan and a shelf span, and then it was more, in terms of what they call meat or flesh, is more than the others. But I don't know what happened to us, and then we just crossed over into Burkina. And for that reason, most of the farmers who farm tomatoes from Akumada and then Kumawu area, all the way to Pualugu and then to Navrungo, practically went down. And our interest moved on far away to Burkina.
Yeah.
And it's even strange that we went all the way into some conflict zones, like what we experienced recently, just to get tomatoes. And you think about the distance that we had to convey tomatoes all the way down to Ghana, the inconvenience and everything. Exactly. And so for me...
And all that accumulates into the pricing.
And yet the traders are able to make some profit out of it.
Yeah.
If Burkina has taken decision, which appears to be harsh on us immediately, and I can tell that, I mean, from looking around, we hear that price of tomatoes have really shot up. Even before the decision was taken, there was already complaint about increase in price of tomatoes. And so with this decision, we are going to suffer some immediate hardship, immediate price increase, which may also result in the increase in the prices. As when you buy your kenke, you know the price of kenke will be affected because the tomato is an ingredient of the sauce. Yeah. Your rice and stew and other commodities and even soups and the rest will all go affected because the market woman cannot absorb the cost alone. You also find a way to push it down our neck. But this is about time. For me, my biggest disappointment has been what we experienced the last 8 years, where we were promised that the Pualugu multipurpose dam will come into operation. And we were even told that it was completed. When Dr. Bawumia actually said that the project was completed, and it turned out that is not the case. I mean, the deceit, we would have expected that it would have that would have been a good opportunity because see the Pualugu multipurpose dam provides great opportunity for us to invest not just in tomatoes but other vegetables as well. And if you know how the weather pattern is in the north, we have just one rainy season. So the entire 12 years in the 12 months in a year, the farmers are able to properly farm only for about 2 or 3 months. And the rest of the time, you are practically idle. And
that's where the policy failure comes in.
Exactly.
Because we have arable land across the country, but we have failed in instituting proper irrigation systems to help the farmers farm year round. Tomato is what, 2-3 months?
Yeah, it's ready.
It's ready.
It's ready, and there's demand for it.
Yes, within 60 to 90 days, you should be able to farm and harvest tomatoes.
In fact, I'm told that at some time past, some factories that were set up to process tomatoes, they will not get adequate tomatoes to process because our farmers were not producing enough, and even the particular species for processing too wasn't meeting their demand. So it tells you that there's high demand for it. We haven't been deliberate about this policy and how to approach it. See, I think food and food sufficiency should be one of our greatest agenda. And I'm happy that at least the NDC as a government is dedicated to ensuring that there's a turnaround. And luckily for us, the environment is ripe. With the decision by Burkina, it means we have to find local options. And the local options
But they did have to take the decision by Burkina for us to wake up to the reality.
I don't think so. I mean, it has been a decision prior to this. We know that a lot of our policies were to improve the agri sector already. And then the decision by Burkina would now propel us. This will be like a catalyst that will push us to the next level of taking immediate action that would give us medium to long lasting solutions to the availability of adequate tomatoes.
I struggle to understand the challenge. I mean, we have agri colleges, we have CSIR, we have the Ministry of Food and Agriculture itself. Tomatoes can be produced within 60 to 90 days.
Absolutely.
So why are we here overly reliant, overly dependent on tomatoes from another country? And now this country shuts its door to us, and we are here on TV discussing a possible shortage and inflation in prices and all.
The other even strange part is that we even have a better weather than Burkina.
Indeed.
We have better rain pattern than Burkina.
And tomato can actually grow almost everywhere in this country.
And we have more water bodies than Burkina. So why would we sign up for all this? Sometimes I think hard decisions like this would help us to look internally and find internal solutions. When I saw it initially, I was like, well, this is to create some hardship. But in the long run, it will provide us an opportunity to grow internal solutions, find internal solutions to tomato supply and other vegetables.
Is the diplomatic engagements even necessary at all? Should we continue to negotiate with Burkina for this?
We may want to do that as a short-term exercise to allow us some space so that we can manage the prices, because if the shortage becomes so low and there's great scarcity, what we are likely to see is really huge price increase. And that is likely to affect all of us. And I mean, the least we want now is a situation where food prices will go up, because I mean, food, it's something you can't do away with. Everybody lives on food, everybody needs it. So it becomes very, very important. But the challenge is that the diplomatic option should not be the long-term option. It should just be a short-term option that allows us some space to be able to adjust, so that in the next season, luckily the rainy season is just about to start. So it gives us an opportunity to perhaps to reorganize ourselves and see how we can bounce back as quickly as possible.
Very well, Council, thank you. Let's say good morning and welcome to Ellen Amadaku. She's a member of the NPP's National Communications team.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hi.
It's good to see you. Good to have you.
Good. I haven't been here this year, have I?
No, you have not.
Oh, okay. Then a belated what? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yes.
To all our viewers.
I think it's in order. I think it's in order.
It's not so belated, is it?
Well,
Yeah,
we're in the 10th month of the
It's not
year,
so
so
belated,
not so
yeah.
related, yeah. Anyways, we're having a conversation on this ban on tomato exports by Burkina Faso, its impact on us as a country, and then, of course, the intensified or deepening calls for self-sufficiency. I raised an issue regarding how tomato can grow almost everywhere in this country, how we have so much arable land. But is it a matter of policy failure, or have we just decided as a people to continue with this trend of depending on other nations for our own sufficiency?
Good morning once again. I'm exhausted. There are certain things that I think that all of us have led to this.
Yeah.
All of us. By our taste, by our preferences, yes, by policy. And I don't see why we should allow Burkina Faso. It's not as if I'm saying that they are not human beings or they are not God's creation. But Ghana we started long ago. We started earlier than them. Burkina has been depending on us for a lot of things all these years. So why should we allow tomatoes to even become a diplomatic conversation? It's by our taste and our preferences as Ghanaians. That's the first thing I'll say. Annually, we produce about, from what I hear, we produce here in Ghana about, 1,000 tons annually. Our needs are about 1 million. So annually, we produce about 40,000. Our needs are about 1 million.
So there's a deficit.
So there's a deficit of over 600,000. And it has never occurred to any one of us that, look, why must we give all this money to Burkina? Majority of that 600 tons. And we are talking about Burkina, but some of our tomatoes come from Egypt. Some come from Morocco. And they are flown in. And we are buying. So what I'm even scared of now is with the ban by the Burkinabes, we are now going to be leaning more towards the Egyptian and the Moroccan ones. We are not going to use the opportunity to cultivate our own. Why must we create jobs for other people when we are here screaming? And I'm talking about our taste because those of us who go to the market, Ghanaian women, well, majority, when we go, we don't want the Ghanaian ones. We don't want the Akumadan ones. We want either the Navrongo ones or the Burkinabe ones, because the Navrongo ones and the Burkina ones are the same, practically the same. So when we know, and that's where policy comes in, can't we cultivate more of it? If the Akumadan ones are not, up to market whatever it is? Can't we send some of those seedlings there and cultivate it? Why must we import tomatoes? Remember that it's the same tomatoes that led some of our traders to be killed in Toso. Tomatoes. And now Burkina says, I will not give you again. You cannot hold Burkina's neck. It is their tomatoes. They said they want to use it for their own purposes. Why must we be at the mercy of Burkina Faso? And unfortunately, tomatoes is a staple in every single food, local food, foreign food in this country. Tell me the food, and I'll tell you whether tomatoes is in it or not. It is in it. So why must we actually open ourselves for this? They said they won't give us. But assuming that they were our enemies, and they decided that we are going to infect all the tomatoes that come into Ghana. Do you understand what that means? One day you have a scuffle with them. And then they decide that, look, let's show the Ghanaians something small. They will just infect the tomatoes that is coming. So it turns into, this is a national security matter. Anything that affects huge portions of the population is a national security matter. Going forward, yes, I agree that we are going to have a bit of issues with the payment. But tomatoes, to cultivating it 120 days, that's 3 months. Oh, 4 months.
Between 60 to 90
Okay,
days.
depending on the variety.
60 to 90.
So can't we all tie our stomachs for the next 60 days and decide that, of course, led by government, the Ministry of Agric. And the Ministry of Agric, I have a little bone of contention to pick with them because I come from a family, my home is all agric. My father is a farmer, my sisters are horticulturalists. So farming is our base. And they have a whole department resourced by us, our taxpayers' money, that is responsible for vegetables. Cultivation of vegetables, how to get good vegetables. Can't they, that department of the Ministry of Agriculture, come and tell us, of course, led by the minister, that the next 60 days, everybody tie your stomachs. There are seedlings here. Go and buy it. I heard a pack of seedlings is 50 cedis. Everybody get a pot in your home, in your backyard. You have some small space. Every Ghanaian in the next 60 days plant tomatoes and make sure that you harvest your own tomatoes and eat. Whilst we do what we have to do to make sure that our traders can pick the tomatoes from wherever they will pick from here in Ghana. Get us to plant, then you have 120 days is not too much. This is not gold. This is not cocoa. This is not cashew. That takes 7 years and 5 years and 3 years.
It won't take that
60 days. 60 to 90 days. Let's have a conversation. I just think that the Ministry of Agric, led by the minister, should take a very concrete step on this. And let's use this opportunity and become self-sufficient in tomatoes. Simple. I don't see why after 6 months, assuming Burkina decides that maybe the experiment they were trying didn't help, and now Ghana should come back, then we run back to them. It should become a glut in their country. We should not go back. A plant, or this is not a plant, a vegetable that is cultivated between 60 to 90 days should not become a national security threat in Ghana when we have land. I said just pick a pot, fill it with soil, and put your tomato seeds in it and give it 60 days. And it gives continuously. So what is it? Why must we come this early morning and be having a conversation on intos?
You think there should be a deliberate effort?
There should be a deliberate effort, honestly. I think this is just, in fact, with every cloud there's a silver lining. This should I just want, I pray that the Minister of Agric would push his people, especially there are those people in the the Department of Horticulture, and you know, so much money goes into that side of our agric. All the vegetables we eat, they should get up, they should do something, they should make us see their use.
Is it time to fall on research? The CSR has been doing
They've been there for years, so fall on it. We have those things. Just come together. Let's solve this problem. We shouldn't go back to Burkina.
See, there's adequate research that would help us to grow better varieties. If our option is that we have now developed a taste for Navrongo or Burkina tomatoes, there's enough research that will help us. I mean, why are we not chasing seeds that the Burkina based are also using? Why are we not looking at the mechanisms they are using? And it's not even an area that Burkina has specialized so much.
True.
The speciality is all over the place. I mean, Italy produces tomatoes. and exports tomato paste, to the extent that Ghana imports, at a point we're importing so much of it that people now turn to China to import tomatoes. So there's enough that we can do. It's unfortunate that the things of the past have come to affect us, but we can't continue looking at the past and continue talking about it. Palugu Multipurpose Dam has been a big failure, and that would have perhaps provided us on a good opportunity. But nonetheless, this is the opportunity now. Let's rise up to the occasion and make sure that we can at least meet the demands of our people.
But in the interim, I think what the suggestion made here about a semblance of operation feed yourself.
I think it's appropriate. I will agree with my sister on this, that I mean, if we can all look behind our backyards and find a little space. I mean, what people don't even realize now there are very, very, very easy ways of growing vegetables. You can even use sacks. You can use your old car tie, just fill it with some sand, put in some seedlings, water it regularly, and you have your okra, tomatoes, or other vegetables, and then you're good to go.
A few quick messages coming in. This one says, this is a blessing in disguise for tomato farmers. They should take this opportunity to cash in. Akomadan and others have suffered a bad price for a long time. Messages from the preacher man. Aminu from Nsawam says, I commend the Burkina Faso government's decision to ban tomato exports to Ghana. As a Ghanaian, it highlights the need for us to boost our local food production and reduce reliance on imports, especially from countries facing similar or harsher climate challenges. This one says, hi bro, this ban on export of tomatoes by Burkina Faso must be a wake-up call for the Agric Ministry to bring on board a pragmatic plan that can forever stop any tomato trader moving out of Ghana to import that commodity and others like onions. I know the minister is up to the task, and by close of year, Ghana will crops. Papa Bisu from Spentex in Accra sent that in. Well, so that's about it for the tomato conversation. Let's move to the matter of SIM re-registration exercise. The president, speaking in Bono last week, said the previous exercise was flawed. He raised issues with, if like, non-coordination between agencies, i.e. the Ministry of Communication and the National Identification Authority, National Communication Authority. Over 40 million SIM cards were registered in the previous exercise. NCA has been given some explanation based on a sample size of about 2 million.
Yes.
Is that enough to warrant a re-registration exercise? Should we do the entire exercise all over again? Or can we clean out where we feel there are challenges and leave the existing data as it is?
Well, if you look at the level of data discrepancy and lack of integration based on the 2 million sample size that was used, it justifies why we must perhaps clean up. What you need to appreciate is that sometimes it takes even 1% of failure in that area of data integration and data integrity to cause a nation a great disservice.
So we're looking at the margin of error.
Exactly. Because it's a situation where you have about 1% of the data wrong, and people are able to take undue advantage of that data, and for that reason scam. And you see, we see scam as on an individual level, but imagine that someone is able to perpetuate the high level of fraud or even a high level of crime against the entire nation itself, and we are unable to trace. We've had situations of some murders in the past, quite unfortunate situations, and as at now, we are unable to unravel the mysteries behind those murders. I mean, largely because sometimes it's been difficult to trace certain numbers, certain contacts, certain calls that were made. But if we can clean up the mess and then provide a more reliable data that can be used for several things, I mean, fighting crime, tracing transactions, ensuring that fraudulent transactions do not continue, it would help us. I know that people are concerned about the inconvenience that we went through the previous time, having to queue up at centers for registration and the rest. Luckily for us, this new model provides us an opportunity to sit at our homes, our offices, to register without necessarily going to queue up. I mean, there are only few exceptional situations that will require you to go there, where you are using someone else's SIM card and maybe the person is dead, or you can't trace the person and then you need to go and have it regularized. But otherwise, you can sit at home, download the app, go through the 4 or 5 steps registration and have it done. At least it is confirmed that, and even from the previous minister's statement, that about 80% of the data at the time is accurate, which means about 20% remains inaccurate. 20% is a huge significant figure, and you can't have 20% failure in a registration exercise and allow it to go. Some have suggested that we may just have to clean up, but my challenge with the cleanup tool is that the exercise will still require the involvement of persons who own the SIM cards. So there are situations where SIM cards have been registered, but they use data and ID cards of people who do not consent that their details will be used. So you have a situation where someone's ID card is used to register a SIM card. However, the person's biometric was not used. So you have SIM card registered with the wrong biometric. And then in very rare situations where some of these SIM cards are used to perpetuate fraud, and then you trace it to the owner of the card. The owner of the card says, I'm not even aware that my number is being used by someone else. I did not do this. I did not participate in it. And so it gives a lot of problems to the security agencies and investigative bodies how to be able to track some of these crimes. And particular situations where it involves some of our mothers who are not very literate. I mean, they are sitting at home, they get a call, and they think that it's coming from the right source. It turns out to be someone else who had cloned a card or a number and is using it to perpetuate fraud. So I think that it is welcoming. We should all get involved, and let's ensure that this exercise will be perhaps one of the last times that we have to do a mass registration again. If there will ever be an opportunity for us to do it, will be just taking care of pockets of issues that we may have in the future to correct them. I know that in the past, some reactions have sought to give challenges now, particularly where some people seem to have opposed a re-registration in the past. But of course, they had their reasons. Now we are informed with new data, better information, and so once the decision has been made, and the president confirmed it, when the president said that it is a clear situation where we have 2 major institutions, the National Communication Authority, the National Identification Authority, having separate data that are not well integrated.
Right.
And so in order to integrate them, luckily this particular exercise has a lot of stakeholder engagement, where we are having the NIA boss and then the NCA boss talking and the other stakeholders coming on board. I mean, the previous exercise, we saw situations where Professor Kanatifa told the entire country that he wasn't even aware that there was a SIM card registration where his outfit is involved. But with the engagement of these 2 major stakeholders and the telecos, I am sure that this exercise we are going to do now will be one of the best, and that would resolve this issue once and for all, and we can proceed.
But see, why can we do this registration and integration of our data all round? Because you see, there are institutions like SNETs, the banks are there, the telcos themselves, even birth and death. If we go ahead and do this registration and a relative passes on, someone else in that family can continue using that SIM card, but not bear the same biometrics, and this person has passed on, and this SIM can be used for whatever. So you see, now we are attributing the challenge to a non-coordination between agencies, and we are limiting it to NCA, NIA. However, there are agencies like Birth and Death Registry. Have they been roped into the conversation? Should they be roped into the conversation?
Perhaps so, but not as a very major part of the conversation, because if you look at the role death and birth play and other state institutions, because of their unique rules, I mean, birth and death registers birth and then death. And so if someone passes on, perhaps the record needs to be amended at the birth and death registry. That would feed into the national identification database to know, oh, this person has passed on. So perhaps we would need to move the conversation into the next level, where major stakeholders like Senate, GVLA, Birth and Death, and other institutions would now integrate their systems very well. This SIM card registration may not require us to have Birth and Death come on board immediately. But in subsequent interactions, subsequent conversations, we must have a situation where we can integrate the database very well, so that once someone is born, the process for identification can almost begin. And then at the same time, once the person passes on, the process of deleting or marking that number as disease is also in the system. So if someone goes ahead to use the person's card or SIM card to perpetuate any fraud, this person at this time was not alive. True. So how could this transaction go on in the person's name? So that we can at least clean up the system. But for now, our focus will be on the SIM card registration. There may be a need to have a major stakeholder discussion where parties or stakeholders engage in the use of data, particularly that involves biometric data and other personal data, would have some integration to allow proper conversations and discussions among these stakeholders so that we can have a better, cleaner system.
Very well. Ellen, let me come to you. Should we commit taxpayers' money to engaging in another SIM registration exercise?
This is the third one we are doing in the last few years. Between the first one and the second one, I think it was about a 10-year difference.
Yeah.
And then between this one and there's a 3-year difference.
Yeah, 3-year difference.
I've listened to all the reasons that the government is giving for suddenly asking all of us to go and do a mass registration again, just 3 years after the last one was done. The first one was from the minister himself. I'll come to him later, but let me deal with the president because he's the Oga Kwata Kwata.
Yeah,
so what he says. At the top. So the president was in my region. I come from the Bunu region.
Oh, okay.
And in explaining the reasons why he felt that we should do, his reason was that two heads of institutions, a minister, Honorable Osluusu, a former minister, and a former head of NI, National
Identification Authority,
NI, Professor Ken Atefa, in his estimation, were not on talking terms. And so because they were not on talking terms, the institutions too were not on talking terms. So the question I asked is,
did he actually say
yes, he said they were not speaking, the two of them. He spoke in Twi. Do you want me to repeat it in Twi?
Please repeat it.
President say, omo that institutions no. Obo Madam Osluusu the minister no. And then the head of the institution, Professor Ken Atefa, omo nkasa. Omo yaka. That is what the president said. He was speaking in my region. He spoke Twi.
I have limited appreciation.
That's why, so I can translate it to English for you. So the two individuals, in his estimation, whether what he said is true or not, we don't know, because Madam Osluusu has come to tell us that she has a cordial relationship with Professor Atefa, and nothing happened in their time that shouldn't let the work happen. What happened was that there was a technology issue that they had to sort out, but it was not a personal issue. But here we are. We have the president of the land, in my estimation, doing Nkonkonsa. Gossiping. Oh yes, he's gossiping about a relationship between two people who are not his appointees. He didn't appoint them. The two of them didn't call him to come and arbitrate between their matter. But somebody, and I'll blame the minister. Somebody must have.
Which minister? The current
minister. Somebody must have given the president this information.
But you don't know that it's the minister who gave him that information.
But isn't the minister supposed to brief him on everything that is happening in his ministry? And for the president, of all the reasons that the president can give, the topmost reason was because Madam Osluusu and Professor Ken Atefa, in his estimation, were fighting and were not on talking terms. Therefore, their fight translated, their supposed fight translated into the institutions, and the two institutions under them were also fighting. And that is why I said the president did Nkonkonsa. And then Nkonkonsa was supplied by somebody. And I'll blame the minister. Because if he had given the president the correct information, perhaps he should have told him that there were technology issues that they couldn't solve. But to whittle it down to personal interactions between two people who are leading their organizations, they were not appointed by you. They didn't call you to come and arbitrate between them. And the only information you can come and tell the whole nation as president of Ghana is that because two people were fighting, all of us should get up. All of us should get up. And the work that has been done, we should throw all of that away and go and do the SIM re-registration again. At what cost? Are they trying to tell us that whichever data that has been picked by the two institutions all these years, they cannot do anything with it?
The data was not properly linked. And
so they cannot find something to link it. Must we all get up again and go and do it? Nothing can be done about the data. That's the question I'm asking. Then I come to the minister. Honorable Sam George should be the last person coming to tell Ghanaians to do anything in connection to SIM registration. Because of his own utterances, because of his own character, and because of what he did when he was in opposition. Perhaps he had forgotten that he was on a path and he could become minister. I think fate has a very nice way of getting us into situations that we talk about. Who would have thought that you become the same minister of the same institution? Where he rallied people, he went radio station to radio station, telling Ghanaians not to register because Madam Oslowusu is a thief. And that the woman wanted to steal from the SIM registration, the whole matter. And the whole thing, it's a scam. It's a fraud for them to fleece Ghanaians. These are what he said. So I would repeat the same thing back to him. Honorable, with all due respect, sir, you also want to steal.
Did he say that?
He said it.
Allege?
He alleged it without evidence.
It was an avenue to fleece.
I am also alleging without evidence.
But did he describe the minister himself?
He did. He doesn't have. We don't even have to go. You go and look for all the things that he said.
Those were his words.
And all the sort of words that he used on Madam Oslowusu just because of SIM registration. Went at her person. We are not going at his person. We are not doing that. We are just repeating his words up to him. So, sir, you also want to fleece the nation. You want to use this as an avenue to also steal, just like how you said Madam Oslowusu wanted to steal without any evidence.
If you take his words coming back to bite him out, is the SIM registration
I think I would not take his words out. He leading this whole matter. If it had been, I will not take it out. He says if, I will not take it out. If it had been,
let's depoliticize the situation.
No, we will not. We will never depoliticize because it was not depoliticized the other time. We are not depoliticizing anything. This is a political matter. If it had been any other person, but Sam George, I'm sure the conversation would have been quite different. If it had been any other minister but Sam George, that whole barrier that is there because of what he's done, I'm sure that barrier would have been off and all of us would have been prepared to listen. Perhaps the reasons would have been more cogent. But being led by him, I mean, the whole thing is tainted. And for most of us, one, we will not register. We are taking his path. He set up the Stubborn Academy that said they would not register. We are going to set up the Stubborn University. We are not registering because we think it is a total waste of everybody's time. Until he comes to tell us that maybe with the benefit of hindsight and with coming into the position and with knowing what he knows now, he shouldn't have done what he did. So that all of us learn lessons from it. That when you are somewhere, you have to be extremely careful when you are talking about other people in certain positions, because one day you can be there.
True.
Until Minister Sam George comes to do that, he should forget about it.
Asking for an apology.
I mean, he has to. Because how do you tell us that something that was done 3 years ago, barely 3 years ago, you can't do anything about it? We have to start anew, whilst you accuse the then minister of trying to fleece the country. And you think we should just take it like that? You're also trying to fleece the country.
Audited. The previous exercise has
we
been
are not
audited.
interested.
And
whether it is
0% match.
Nobody cares.
Fingerprint match. 0%.
Ghanaian money, our taxpayers' money was used for that. If they think, because all the audits that they say they've done, I don't believe it.
You don't?
All the things that they say they've done, I don't believe it. I see this as all excuses to push the other one
registration
aside and do their own and make money. That is how I see it.
What money is there?
That is, he said,
how
no, I don't know how they make money.
Make
the same way that he said Madam Oslowusu wanted to fleece the country, it is the same way that I'm using his speculations. It's just 3 years. So it's the same way that he said somebody made money. I'm also saying that everything that they are doing, they also want to make money. Otherwise, explain to me why in just 3 years. If there's a problem, if you think that some things are not connecting, some people have issues with their SIM cards, and get us to go back and go and do it. Must all of us? So what about those of us whose everything is okay? Must we all go back? It means you are putting the whole system away and you're bringing in a new system. you must stand to benefit.
Do
Just
you,
like how
do
you
you
thought
agree
somebody
that
else
there's
was
fraud
benefiting
in the system?
Of course, they have
Do
always
you
been fraud.
agree that registration can curb the fraud?
The new
to a large
one that they are
extent?
coming to bring, would they take fraud 100% out of the system?
To a large extent.
No.
Yes.
No.
To bring it down to its bare
No.
minimum.
maximize
No,
security.
that's
Okay, so let me help.
let me finish.
help
No,
with
let me.
this.
Don't help me.
All right,
I'm
go
not
ahead.
asking for your. Let me finish.
You
When I finish.
Finish. Go ahead.
What are they bringing that is so new?
Okay.
That the other system they couldn't use and take out. Unless they are telling me that the new system they are bringing will take out fraud by 100%. Will not even have one single case of any fraudulent activity using the SIM card. But we all know that that is not possible.
It's not possible.
There's always going to be something in the system. That is why technologies change. That is why there are new developments. Things change. But when things change, you do not throw out the old. You improve on the old. So the question I'm asking is, can they improve on what is there? Must we throw out everything? That's the question I'm asking. Then the personality of the person leading the whole charge.
Can we take the personality
No, we
out
cannot.
and look at this as
We
a national
cannot take.
policy?
No, we cannot, because he's the minister. He's the one.
She cannot.
I cannot. He's the one leading it. He's the one leading it. And what he said is barely 3 years old. Perhaps I hear the president wants to do some reshuffle. That's what I hear. He should look
From
at
where?
it.
Where are you hearing this from?
That's what I hear. I'm taking it from the paper. He should look at it. He should change the face of the person. If he truly wants to do this and do it well and get the buy-in of all Ghanaians, he should take a look at Sam George again and maybe change him and get somebody else to come and lead the charge. Because if he's the one leading this charge,
Emma,
it's Senepa and Baswe.
No.
Just like how he also said.
Council.
Let me just assist to clarify some.
Don't assist
I'm
me.
not assisting you. I'm assisting to clarify, because apart from every other thing, this platform also must help to educate our people and provide accurate information. I mean, as for the issues about Osla and Professor Kantifa having issues in the past, it is not in doubt. Indeed, the statement of Osla herself said that they may have some personal disagreement, but that personal disagreement did not affect. That is her in her own assertion. Did not affect the outcome of the registration.
And that's how it's supposed to be.
That's what's supposed to be. But at least doesn't
The
take
personal
away.
issues should not affect the
It
coordination
doesn't.
between
Yes,
the
but
institutions.
it doesn't take away the fact that there were personal differences, and these personal differences, as she also confirms, are not something that it is Sam George who informed the president about personal difference. We knew about them. We're in this country. She moved on to talk about the fact that they are not persons who were appointed by him and that they occupy the public office. The moment you occupy a public office, it doesn't matter who appoints you. You are only there per the appointee, but you are there to provide public service for the benefit of the Ghanaian public, paid by the Ghanaian tax payer. And so once they become public officers, the president has a personal interest to know what goes on, what they do, how they do it. But let's put those personal issues aside. For me, I think that these are not primary issues. The core primary issues we should look at is what's the difference between that registration exercise done about 3 years ago and the new one we are about to do. Enhanced security feature in this new one. One of the key enhanced security features now is that your device forms part of the registration process. So it helps. I mean, people are able to snatch your phone, snatch your bag, steal your phone, and the next moment they take the SIM card out, they sell it. But if the device is registered to you, before anyone can sell it, your consent, your participation is required. And so a key feature of this registration exercise is the registration of the SIM card itself, the registration of the device with your biometric details, which provides you safe security. And even in cases where crime is committed, we are able to trace the device and the person involved.
And at this point, I'm registering the device to who? NCA, NIA, or the telco?
Both. It's a centralized.
I have to go back again.
Yeah, you update it. If you change, if you buy a new device, just update it. It's an online process. You don't need to walk into any office to do it. You go online, upload the new device details. If you give the device out to your wife or your child or someone else, you can update the system as well. So that the new person who becomes the owner of the device now updates it. At least, if for nothing at all, the device can be traced to a particular person who registered at a point in time. The registration is not necessary to a teleco. It is a centralized registration system that provides access to information to our security agents, to the telcos, to NCA, and to NIA. And so this registration exercise provides us that layer. Then the next thing is about cost. I mean, she speculates here that because perhaps there's been previous speculations against the previous minister that it was an opportunity for her to fleece the country. This is also an opportunity for someone to make money.
Wouldn't that be fair?
No, it's not fair. It's not
but
fair.
What was said against one cannot be said against the other.
It can be said, but it's not supported by data. It's not supported by any evidence.
Was it supported by data then?
You can question that. But I'm talking about what is happening now. Now the payment is, we didn't even know the cost of the registration at the time. We now know today that the cost of registration per SIM card is 5 cedis. We also know very well that the Ghanaian public is not going to bear the cost of registration. That the registration cost will be borne by the telecom companies. And so it tells you clearly that there is no opportunity for someone to make money out of this exercise. Because is MTN now going to pay the money to the minister? That's not going to work. How is that possible?
But is MTN going to find a way to put that money on the charges for us consumers or customers to pay?
I don't think so. I don't think
these
so.
These telcos are profit oriented.
Of course, but don't forget that this also safeguards their operation. This provides them a very good opportunity to have credible data that they will rely on and continue to work with. And so apart from every other thing, it's a welcoming exercise for the telcos.
A necessary cost to bear.
Part of it. Don't forget that they are in operation for a long time. Yeah. You could spread this cost over their operational cost for a long time. What it means is that if it's an operational cost, it's an expenditure on their books, which will stand to affect their profit. Perhaps it may affect tax payments, and if we make arguments like that, I appreciate that. But as far as the cost is concerned, you and I are not going to pay for it. No Ghanaian is going to pay for it. The telcos will absorb the cost and will help us to have better integrated data. And so for these three reasons I have given you, the fact that the inconvenience aspect is taken out, the fact that there's improved security in the registration exercise, the cost involved is not to be borne by the Ghanaian, tells you that the next registration exercise we are doing is more guaranteed. We may have to move away from the personal issues with Sam George and the rest. Sam George is doing his work. As for the cause that he should be removed and the rest, I think they are misplaced. The president has assigned him a duty to perform. He's performing that duty. We don't need to look at his past utterances to judge his current performance. We should gauge his performance as he is. And currently he's doing well.
1 year, 3 months.
Yes, he's doing very well. So I don't see the need for that call for his removal. Whether there will be a removal or not, it's for the president to decide.
Very well. Ellen, are you not worried that out of a sample size of about 2 million, there were 0 fingerprint matches based on the findings of the audit by the NCA?
I don't believe the findings. I mean, if somebody wants to do something, they'll go and go through all manner.
It's a state institution. I say
they'll go through. It's the same state institution that the president said that because in his at that time we're having personal issues, they didn't work. It's the same state institution. So for me, this whole audit matter, this whole business of we have to redo it because certain things have not done well, it doesn't go down well with me. With all the explanations he has given. So why couldn't the president have said 1 or 2 of those? Why must he bring in the personal aspect? When you tell me to drop the personal matters, I cannot drop it because the president himself did not drop the personal matters. The president decided to personalize it. And so you cannot come down here and come and tell me not to personalize it. When he personalized it, he made it a personal issue. He could easily have said that, well, there was some integration matters between the two entities, and we need to get that done. And then given all the reasons that you have given, without mentioning anybody's name. But since he decided to go at the 2 of them, we also go at them. And everything that they said, we are not going to put away what Sam George said. Why should we? A man is judged by his words. So all of a sudden, we should all forget what he said. We are not forgetting it. What he said then would have an impact, a great impact on what is going on now. And I am just repeating what he said. That he said the former minister wanted to fleece the nation. And in my estimation, he also wants to fleece the nation. And until if the president truly, we should have asked him what was his basis for saying that the former minister also wanted to fleece the nation. So the same basis that he used 3 years ago, it is the same basis.
We won't interrogate it, but we'll use it against him.
You didn't interrogate it the last time. You didn't.
But you had an option to do so.
I didn't. I don't have to, and I won't because he didn't. He was so vocal about it. He was all over the place about it. He made mockery of this. He decided to go at the person of the former minister.
Right.
And as I said, so far as he's the one leading this charge, it does not matter all the logical explanations you give. We are not interested. If they think that there's something wrong, so greatly wrong with it, they should find a way. That is why they are there. They should find a way and do it. Get somebody else to lead. Does he even have a deputy? Yes, he does have a deputy. You can get him to lead. Get somebody else to lead, because Sam George himself leading just reminds Ghanaians of what he had done. And he did that. He wasn't a teenager. He wasn't a child. He was a full-blown adult. He was a member of parliament. So he definitely knew what he was doing. And why are you telling us that we should forget about what he did and take it out and then look at him in a different light?
Well, we are not going to look at the nation because of one man.
You should have thought. No, you should have thought.
Council, just a second. Should we hurt the nation because of one man?
You should have thought about hurting the nation. The last time he was doing that, who called him to order? Did the president call him to order? Did anybody call him to order? We allowed him to go at everybody, and especially at Madam Oslowusu. He didn't go at her competence. No, he didn't go at anything that he's done. He went at her person, called her names, just because she says we should re-register. And all the reasons you're giving, she also gave those reasons at that time. So when you come here and you tell me that I should leave it be, I cannot leave it be unless we bring somebody else, and you have to repackage this whole matter.
Did you think it was bad then?
I didn't think it was bad. Well, how he went about it, definitely.
So, is it good now?
If there's a national issue, the government says we should register our SIM cards. You did not agree with it.
Yeah.
Do you remember any cogent reason he gave that said that we shouldn't agree? That was not on personal lines. Do you remember?
Yes, the inconvenience.
No.
The inconvenience.
Do you remember?
At the
Okay, exactly. So the inconvenience at the sentence.
Yes.
And then what about what he said? Everything that comes into your mind is what he said about the former minister. It's about the theatrics that he put up. A whole MP going around singing, telling people we will not register. Went radio station to radio station. Today you are the minister. And you are telling me to go and register. Sir, we will not. As I said, you set up Stubborn Academy. We are setting up the Stubborn University. So perhaps if the president truly wants this to be done, as I said, that face of Honorable Sam George should be taken up, because people are still pissed off with what he did. And the fact that he has even the nerve to champion this. Without giving us any cogent reasons, what has changed? Now it is okay. All because of convenience. But there's still convenience.
Benefit of hindsight.
Just recently, the telcos, my service provider, sent me a short code. They said I should check. I should go on that short code. It's 47 something. I have to check. And check if all the numbers that counts up, they are my numbers. If I am the owner. If I am not, I think they gave some instructions. Either pass through the offices and come and take it off and all that. Can't we use all that measures? We can still clean up the system. Must we do everything all over again? And must it be led by Sam George?
Okay,
I'll come to you for a response, but I need to take a break here, a quick break here. So this is Breakfast Daily here on ChannelOne Television. Stay with us, we'll be right back, but do well to send your thoughts and your comments through. We'll do our best to read them when we're ready. You're welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily here on ChannelOne Television. We're having the news review segment. The conversation began with the tomato export ban by Burkina Faso. We're just about wrapping up on the SIM re-registration exercise. Council, final thoughts on this, and then I can take some messages.
Well, I was just a quick rebuttal to what my sister put out there. That yes, the personality leading it is her challenge. Sam George's previous comments were founded on the grounds that I have put out there, the inconvenience that Ghanaians were put out to. He made arguments in the past that there is enough technology that can be employed to take away the issues of queues at the places, that the cost involved could be minimized. And so those were legitimate arguments that he made. I don't remember for sure where he made personal attacks at Osla, Usu, beyond the issues of policy, the issues of competence. And it's rather unfortunate that we are extending a robust argument to mean a personal attack. I mean, when someone puts out a robust argument and argues on grounds of competence and performance, it should not be seen as issues of personal attacks. I mean, we can always separate the personality from the office. And holding views against a particular exercise and giving cogent reasons for which it shouldn't be done. And you come out now and give better ways of doing it, and you are now implementing some of the suggestions that you were advancing at the time you were opposing it. Should not mean that the whole exercise should be thrown out. Mind you, there are also consequences if you fail to register your SIM. There are consequences. And so let me urge every Ghanaian out there who is mindful to go out there and register when the opportunity is open. I mean, don't listen to the naysayers who are saying they won't register. they may have a better option of communicating. For all you know, they will be the first to register. Yet they will tell you that they will not register. So let me advise everybody out there who is willing to register, please go out there and register. Protect your SIM card, protect your device, and let's enhance the security of our data. Eventually, my sister and her colleagues will all fall in place. No more.
The stubborn university.
No more stubborn university. They don't even they don't have accreditation.
So GTech will shut them down.
They shut them down.
Very well. Let me take a few quick messages. Alhaji Hamza from Pig Farm says, "Good morning, my brother. In my humble opinion, the Honorable Sam George meant good for this nation. So we should concentrate on this registration. I've listened to the Director General of the NCA explain the issues, and I'm convinced that we need this new registration exercise. I'll advise Dr. Baumia to reshuffle the people communicating for him. They are doing more harm than good to him." Okay. Good morning to you all, especially Loyal Amtig. Okay, he says, if Madam Ellen is still insisting that the Honorable Minister of Communication is coming to steal without any evidence, then that may not be fully understood, unlike the things that were going on during the MPP regime. The reasons for the re-registration are stated clearly, and they have seen the differences. Let's all give the Honorable Minister a supporting hand to carry out this exercise, and we will all appreciate it later. This is from Yenab Zong. Elvis from Techiman, I think it will be more convenient and easily done if the NHIS is involved. This is due to the fact that the NHIS has over 150 offices scattered around the country and also has the connectivity and the IT infrastructure to support the SIM registration exercise. People will gladly get their SIMs registered without any stress. The telcos and NITA should think through this idea too. Okay, thank you, Elvis. This one says, the lawyer doesn't understand the practicality of the exercise. You can register and trace your gadget today, and you don't need any SIM registration to do that. Thank you. Okay. Good morning, boss. I agree with Amma. We will not register. I'm Jacob from Tema. And this one goes straight. It says, please, madam, I disagree with your opinion.
New admissions into the Stubborn Academy.
More students are joining in. More students are joining in. All right, so we're going to move into other matters now. Parliament has ratified a 15-year lease agreement with Barari DV for lithium mining in Ghana. This lithium deal, it came under the NPP administration, the final embers of that administration. There was some level of progress, some contracts secured. The NDC, upon assumption, reviewed that contract. There was some opposition to that reviewed contract, and now, upon some corrections relayed in Parliament, we have the ratification. So it's a 15-year lease. Quick thoughts on this lithium deal with Barari DV?
Very well. I think any exercise or policy that's sought to add value to existing resources, that's sought to bring development, opportunities for employment, that will give opportunity for us to also tap into the global market of lithium mining, is welcoming. We only have to be always concerned about certain key issues of environment, key issues of employment, local content, and then what it is for Ghana. I am happy that when the issues came up some years ago, I mean, the NDC pointed out certain key issues that they think that should be considered. And as a result, it was withdrawn. And now it has been relayed. Even in its current state, this is the third time it was relayed in Parliament. And it came up somewhere in November, it was withdrawn. It was brought in December, it was withdrawn, and finally brought it. So it means that at every time, the Minister of Mines and Natural Resources has taken lots of the feedback into consideration, and I must congratulate him and his team for having done a good job so far. And some of the feedback is what has fed into the final agreement we have. A key component of this new agreement is the fact that the earlier fixed royalties of 10% gives us an opportunity now to have up to 12% on a sliding mechanism.
That sliding scale mechanism.
Which allows that wherever there's increase in the price of lithium on the global market, it gives Ghana the opportunity to make more money, an extra 2%, unlike a situation where we have just 10% fixed, so that we don't even get to benefit when there's an increase in the price
on
the
the
global market. And so I think it's good enough for us. There's also an opportunity for, apart from the 13% free stake interest that we have an opportunity for MIF to have a 6% interest, which has not been touched, because that interest is a stake that MIF can hold in the entire arrangement. And so that gives us about some 19% or thereabout. What is also crucial to note is that in other mining leases, we actually waive a lot of tax. We give a lot of tax waivers. But this particular one doesn't have any such tax waivers. I mean, all the taxes apply, all the corporate tax apply, all the mineral fees that are supposed to be paid applies. There's also a component of a 1% revenue. Now, this component of 1% revenue, people see 1% as a bit insignificant, but this 1% is not on profit, where perhaps the mining company will now take out all their cost of operation, and then perhaps if there are losses, we can't even get anything. Or even if the profit is very low, there's nothing to take. This is on revenue. This 1% is on revenue. That's supposed to go into community development fund. And so whatever revenue that accrues to the mining of the lithium goes, 1% of it will go into a community development fund. That would help the communities. One of my biggest concerns, which should be a concern for everybody, is that, I mean, these are communities that generally dwell on agriculture.
Yes.
And so now that their lands are being taken out, obviously there will be an effect on the other alternative livelihood. And so it is important that there's this component that provides for community development. And so that those monies, those resources will go into it and help the communities to improve. It's also critical to know that this lease is for 15 years. So it gives us an opportunity to review. Unlike in the past where we sign leases that are very long, 20, 30 years and more. And so opportunity to review and renegotiate are sometimes lost on us. But this 15 years gives us an opportunity in the next decade and a half to review it, come out with enhanced policies. What is perhaps a bit lost on us is the local content component, where we're expecting that as part of the value chain, there will be an establishment of a refinery here that would give an opportunity for the products not to be exported in its raw state.
The bill as it stands prohibits the export of raw lithium.
Exactly. And so it also gives us an opportunity here for it to be refined, which means that there's an enhanced benefit to the Ghanaian economy, enhanced benefit to Ghanaian employment opportunities for our people, and then opportunity for tax, because taking out the raw component of the resource is one exercise, and then giving it out for it to be reprocessed, also another exercise, value addition that gives us an opportunity to make more revenue out of it and add value in the long run. So I think it's welcoming, and I must congratulate the Minister for Mines and
Lands and Natural
Resources for what he has done.
What would you say to those who argue that we missed the window of opportunity when we failed to ratify at 10% when prices were high, renegotiated to 5%, and now we are back to the same thing?
We are not entirely back to the same thing. We are back to an opportunity that gives us a better enhanced opportunity where prices go up.
Because of the sliding scale
mechanism. Of course. When if prices go up, we earn more. Unlike the 10%,
which was fixed.
Which is fixed. If prices goes down, so it is. If prices go as high as even 5,000 or more, it will still be at 10%. But here, if prices go beyond the benchmark of 3,000 to 3,500 or so, we are making 12%, which is good opportunity. And don't forget that as we speak now, the prices of lithium is also coming down. So if we don't take advantage of this opportunity now, we may lose out when the price is so low, because the negotiation ability will be weakened. And the other aspect to it is that because of the pendency of these agreements, most of the lands and the areas there have been on hold. The farmers have been discouraged from planting and all that. So imagine you haven't been properly compensated. You're also not told to plant because they don't want anything to disrupt the opportunity for for clearing the lands, because if you do major farming and then they have to come and clear the land, it will come at extra cost to the farmer and then of course compensation. And so it's good that we are finding a solution to this. It's good that we've taken advantage of the times are affordable to available to us, and then we are making something out of this. I think it's okay.
Very well. Ellen, let me come to you on this lithium deal. Do you agree with those who argue that we missed an opportunity to ratify when we had 10% at high international prices?
This whole lithium deal matter, what has eventually been ratified and what came the first time? What is the difference?
The difference is the...
Apart from the sliding scale matter, everything else is the same. Everything else is the same. So we spent how many years? 3 years or so debating this. We bring it into Parliament, we take it out. The people, the company has been waiting. We have put, what do you call it, the lawyers, something on the land, an injunction on the lands of the people. So for 3 years, they have not used their lands. They have not benefited either from the lithium matter. They have not benefited from their crops. And we come back with the same thing. Now, at the current rate of 12% on the sliding scale, when you compare that at the time we were doing the 10%, when the prices were so high, the monies we can accrue, what's the difference? I just think that sometimes we just play politics with everything in this country, and eventually we lose out as a people. There's this 1% that he mentioned for the community
development fund.
Is it going to the MDF, or we are setting up a new community development fund specifically for the lithium people? Because the law already says that 20% of our mineral royalties should go to the Minerals Development Fund. And their duty, if Madam Hanabisu has forgotten, because I've now seen her chasing galamseyers, her duty is to make sure that that money is used to go back into those communities from where we take those minerals and do things for them that the communities want. You are not supposed to decide in your office. You have to go to them. What do you need, community by community? So that's 1%. Is it going to the Minerals Development Fund, or they are setting up a totally new fund just for this lithium one, for that particularly affected community? It is important.
The community.
That is what I'm asking. There's already
who manages this fund?
There's already a law, and there's already an institution that manages this one. But we have to be extremely careful. If the thing is, if this 1% is meant for the communities from where the lithium is coming from, it should be properly stated. Otherwise, it will go into the bigger pool of the MDF, and then everybody else who is also mining any other, what do we call it? Any other mineral.
Will it be going to the MDF for the MIF?
MDF, MIF collects all the money.
Right.
Then MIF gives MDF
A portion.
20%. That's why I'm asking. I wasn't too clear about it because they have stated it. Let me finish. I'm coming. Because they have specifically stated 1%. That is why I'm asking, because if they hadn't stated it, it means everything will still go to MIF. MIF will still give MDF what they have to get. But this 1%, is it just for these people, the lithium area? If it's for them, it should be properly stated and properly rectified, so that it does not go and join the bigger pool of the MDF, and then the community from which we are taking this one doesn't benefit as much. They'll benefit, but not as much.
So there's a 10% royalty rate. There's a 13% free carried interest for the state, and then there's a 1% for the community.
It is for the mining community.
Yes.
So now that it has been ratified, I think that we should, what do you call it? Is it an LI? What do you call it?
What has been ratified?
The agreement.
Now that the agreement has gone through, do they have to do any LI on it, or they don't have to?
No. This doesn't require an LI. It's an LI already that supports the framework generally, and this is an agreement. So what the next thing that was actually internal between the company. They'll go through an investment process to now set up their machinery, bring in their plants and everything.
So this 1% is not for the MDF.
No.
It is for the Awoya community from where we are going to pick the lithium.
Absolutely.
I think we should state it emphatically. And the reason why I'm on it, because I heard a few people from that area just a few days ago screaming and shouting their heads off about their lands and the fact that they haven't been able to use it. It is time for us to go to them and tell them that by the agreement, you are supposed to get some 1% that is meant for you and your community. And then now have to set their systems and their, what do you call it, their structures up to trace this 1%. Otherwise, this 1% you can get missing in action. We have said it, but it will not get to them. We know how these things work. It is stated in the law, it is stated in the agreement, but because the community is not aware, by the time you realize the money will be sitting somewhere, it is covered, then the community doesn't benefit. So perhaps the education should get to them, that they should come down on the agitations that they've started, because there's a 1% for them. And let's educate them. The company needs to get down to them. The MIF have to get down to them. The ministry has to get down to them and educate the community, because if they are not satisfied or they don't hear this and they don't accept it, it's going to be a problem. They are going to create problems for them. You can rectify all you want. The job will not start if the community members decide to give you problems. So we need to get to them and let them know. But I just think that this is a long, drawn-out matter. We could have done this earlier and gotten this thing done. But hey, we've now done it. Let's move on. Life goes on.
I think I agree with
hope
the
that
education bit.
The people benefit.
There's been a lot of stakeholders engagement at the local level where the chiefs, the opinion leaders, assembly, and other persons are keenly involved in the process. And so the management of this community fund will definitely involve them. She made mention of the fact that what the people want should be done for them. In every community project, there's what you call need assessments. So the needs assessment process is where you'll find out whether the community needs a hospital, needs a clinic, needs a school, needs a bridge, or whatever the community may need. And that there will be a mechanism to ensure that. Greater transparency will also give some credibility to the entire management of the fund, where accounts are published and we all know how the monies are spent and where the monies actually were spent and fund the benefits. So I think there are opportunities for us to manage it better and make sure that the communities are not worse off.
Very well. Ellen, someone is helping us with the code you mentioned earlier. He says, good morning, Anatufo. These politicians really don't care about Mother Ghana. All the challenges allegedly given can easily be rectified. If you dial *402# and enter your Ghana card registration number, all the phones registered in your name will appear. If you are not the owner of the phone numbers. Yeah, I'm sure it's the phone numbers.
Not
the gadget itself. Yeah, also all the numbers registered in your name will appear. If you are not the owner of the number, you can get them off by reporting to the telco service provider. And then he says, I smell a rat. His name is ABT Abi from Sunyani. All right, thank you for that. Our final issue this morning will be a fundraiser for the Black Stars. It's been reported that some $11.5 million has been raised. 13.97 million cedis has been raised to aid the Black Stars in their quest to conquer the world at the World Cup. ENP has donated $5 million. Wow. So now the state has opened it up to the public to contribute to the Black Stars. It looks, I know some fundraisers have been done in the past, but not at this scale. So is the state sitting back and not funding and allowing the public to do so? What stake then will the state have in the Black Stars participation at the World Cup?
Well, the state will continue to be the major stakeholder and continue to have a stake in everything that has to do with Ghana and Ghana's participation at the World Cup. For me, I have always been concerned that sometimes we put in so much resources, and not resources just for the players and the management team, but even to get supporters to go across and then support the teams and all that at the expense of the state. And we've seen what has happened in the past before. And so there are lessons to be learned for me. And I think that the president, John Dramani Mahama, is leading by example by showing that, listen, the mistakes of the past should not be repeated. And that goes to feed into the reset agenda that, listen, the reset agenda is to ensure that things that were done wrong, we reset them and do them right. And so we will not spend public resources particularly taxpayers' resources into sponsoring the Black Stars and sponsoring people to go and watch and come back and have all the issues that we usually used to have.
It's actually in the Jamefe report.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And so going by the recommendations of the Jamefe report, it is very prudent that the president has shown that, listen, we can raise these monies from the public. And the good part is that when the monies are raised, once the funds are donated into that pot, it becomes public funds. And so it will be managed in accordance with the public management of public funds, and it will be for the benefit of everyone. It is welcoming that Ibrahim Mahama's company is giving us $5 million. At least it shows that when we build the capacity of local companies and local individuals, it will come to the benefit of all of us. I mean, it's very welcoming. I saw a report also where Shatawale gave about $100,000, and then Stoneboy gave about $80,000 with some 21,000 in music production and all that. So, and it's welcoming that we are seeing a lot of this. I encourage those who can afford to give more, so that at least we can support the Black Stars to go out there, not just to win, but also to sell Ghana, market Ghana, and let the world continue to give us the attention we've enjoyed in the last few years. Ghana has been at the center of the global view or perspective in the last few months or years, because of some of the good things that is happening around. And so we should take advantage of the world stage to market our country, market Ghana as a tourism destination, as an opportunity for investment and all that. And so it's welcoming.
Very well, very well. Ellen, there's the Black Stars as a team, there's the technical team, and then there are supporters. Who are we committing these resources to? So, and who is going to administer this fundraising, the monies from this fundraising?
Why are you worried?
Do you remember Brazil?
I like Ellen.
Yeah, I like the reaction.
Do you remember Brazil? I hope we will not repeat what happened in Brazil. And we had to go through all the things we did. And all the things. As for the sports, okay, let me start from this. Me, I am not a Black Stars fan.
Oh, why not?
I have never been since 2010, when they gave us that heartbreak.
You suffered a broken heart.
I mean, that was the last time I decided to watch a Black Stars match. I have not been interested in their matter, because until...
But you check results after the game.
Yes, I don't have a choice out here. So until...
When she hears go, she goes to spy.
I don't even switch on my TV, because the Black Stars can give you such, if you don't take care, palpitations of the heart.
Yeah.
You build your shock absorbers.
I can't. And there are enough issues in this world that I can't add Black Stars matter to it. So I hope, as I said, in the management of this money and everything, we will not do what we did with Brazil. And subsequent ones, and we came back with all manner of explanations and people crying, and we don't want to do that. As you said, who is going to make use of the money? Is it going to sponsor supporters? How are we going to choose those supporters? Is it for the technical team? How much, after all this, would government still give them some money? All those things have to still go into it and let us look at it. Whilst we are at it, because it is World Cup, we are all up and doing it and getting them excited about it. But could the Black Stars and their management team explain to Ghanaians why in the last 44 years they have not lifted the African Cup of Nations? The cup, why?
We didn't even qualify for the previous one.
I mean, how? The
one that CAF has given to Morocco.
Yes, that's the Senegal said they will never send back, and I agree with them. They should never send back.
They should hold on to it.
They should hold on to it. But all these efforts that we are putting in, I'm not saying I don't want to be a prophetess of doom, but I do not see us winning the World Cup. We can go far, I agree, depending on what we do. But winning the cup itself, I don't see us doing it. But it was highly possible for us to put in all this effort and win the African Cup of Nations once again. The last time we won the African Cup of Nations was in June 1982. I was born in September 1982. me, my lifetime, and all those behind me. Everybody who is 44 years and below, even those who are 45, 46, how old were they for them to see it? So a whole generation, in fact, 2 generations, 3 generations, we haven't seen the Black Stars win the African Cup of Nations. I think that should be our next agenda. after this World Cup matter, if they can save some money from all this and then push it for the African Cup, why should Morocco and Senegal be fighting over, what do we call it, African Cup of Nations, and Ghana is nowhere to be found? 44 years. These are the things that I think we should be looking at. When you're able to conquer at home, and then we all have confidence that when you go out into the world, you are coming with something. This one that they are going, as I said, I'm wishing them well. I don't want to be a prophetess of doom. But with all this money, let's see what happens.
Let's wish them well. You don't sound positive.
Let's wish them well. But thank you so much. Ellen Amadaku is a member of the MPP's communications team, and Lamteg Apanga is the acting deputy commissioner of the Gaming Commission. It's been an interesting conversation so far this morning. The show continues after this.